You know, so there's always polarity and duality that we're gonna have to worry about. You know, and so now that we have dethroned consciously, unconsciously, the bad matriarch, it's now time to put the new matriarch back in her seat. But that shit just doesn't. No one's just gonna throw you a bone. No one's just gonna throw us a bone and say, "Oh, here's your shit back." Like, we're gonna have to. I don't even want to say work for it, but we're gonna have to stand in position for it. Meaning, you have to stand and wait in line because
you have to sacrifice for it. Honestly. Yes, we really gonna have to sacrifice something in the season. And I say that because Spirit kept having me play Jasmine Sullivan's song. Like, I couldn't stop playing it. It just kept ringing in my spirit. Her song called Selfish on her album, The Hexless. I think it's the second album. It's called Selfish. And in the song, she's basically talking about, you know, you want me to change, you want me to change everything, but you don't want to make no sacrifices. Don't want to make no sacrifices. You want me to give everything. You want me to take all of the blame. You know, and that's the position of the Divine Mother. You know, we've been so selfish, you know, just in our existence. We've been so selfish with this planet. You know, we've just been taking and sacrificing and taking, and mainly not even using it to advance the consciousness or to advance the self. It's really been to advance our pockets, you know, or to advance our greed, and not even to be able to put people in a better state. It's really been for us to be able to say, I got it, or I can take it, which is the position of what Russia is doing. Looking at Ukraine or something that Ukraine has and deciding that I want that, and because I want it, I'm going to be selfish enough to go to war and the killing of a people because you want something that doesn't belong to you. And then the Divine Mother is putting us in the position of saying, if we want this new world, if we want this new existence, we're going to have to sacrifice something. And the sacrificing is going to be this old world, the old ways of being, the old ways of getting to the money, the old ways of how we build community. Even going and touching on the Divine Feminine of what you were saying, you know, about the attacks that's coming against women, especially melanated women, and how we're going to begin to see that heighten. The best thing that the Divine Feminine can do right now in this season is to put away your catty ass ways and to come back into the understanding of the importance of why we build community to begin with. Yes. It's time for us to stop looking at what our sisters got and what they don't got and how they use it and how we would use it if it ain't none of your business. It's time for us to get back into the position of building community, putting away and undoing a lot of the things that originally put us at odds with each other. Nina is saying times are changing. A new world is coming. Many of you were saying, how did you know that this was Nina? How this could have been any spirit? How did you know this was Nina talking to you? I hear y'all gonna say. And the reason why I told the story of the chickens that we met at the nursery the day before was because one of the chickens' name was Eunice. And that night, or maybe the next day, I think I told y'all, the next day, Nina had me watching a documentary of her that came out in 2015. I think it's titled, What Happened to Miss Simone? What Happened to Nina? You guys can find it on Netflix. And she had me watch this documentary. And when it got to a part of the documentary, Nina starts to say her name. And the name that she birthed as, when she came into this existence, was Eunice. Eunice. So she validated herself as coming forth as Eunice and the chicken that we had met the day before. And to some of y'all gonna say she's reaching. And my response to that is that you're not connected.
Yeah, you just don't get it. And if you just don't,
you're not connected.
You just don't get it, and that's okay.
You know, and so
don't get it, and that's okay.
You know, and so some of the messages that Nina was telling us to be on the lookout for, she spoke about storms coming in from the north. So here we have the direction of the north coming in, so storms coming in from the north. She spoke a lot about storms, and she spoke about winds of change, okay? The winds of change, which is also the energy of Oya, the winds of change, the winds of transformation. This rings true because she's coming and speaking about a new world coming. Times are changing. And what brings change? Winds, whirlwinds, chaos, destruction. What is chaos, Shasha, as it relates to the divine masculine and the divine feminine? Who's chaos?
The divine feminine.
The divine feminine. Okay? So Nina was saying she knew exactly who she was and exactly what she was doing. Every time she stepped on stage, she said every time she stepped on stage, she was in ritual. From the moment that she was born, she was birthed in ritual. Okay? She said, I knew who I was, and they still use my image for their liking. And so for a lot of you, you know exactly who you are in this season, and you still allowing people to chump you. You still allowing people to define you because the position that you're in of losing it all don't feel good. Chaos is not going to feel good, and that's why Spirit is coming to tell us to put provisions in place. Okay? So Nina said, I knew who I was, and they're still using my image to their liking. She spoke a lot about freedom and wanting freedom and cutting all the supply or the source of her energy. Okay? She said no one cared about Nina Simone, meaning no one cared about Eunice Wayson. No one cared about who she was as a person. No one cared about the fact that she never felt accomplished in her lifetime. Because what Nina wanted to be and wanted to do was to be a world-class pianist. She wanted to be known for her giftings, not for her image. And it was her image that paraded the world and that overshone her giftings of being able to play classical piano. That's why she was saying that as far as she's concerned and the shadow work that she's continuing to do where she is, that she felt like she failed when she was here, that she didn't accomplish what she set out to accomplish. And that's a message to us to stop sleeping on ourselves, to stop exchanging one version of yourself for who the world may like, for the version of who Spirit called you to be when you chose to incarnate during this lifetime. Stop sacrificing who you're supposed to be for who the world wants you to be. Sure. Because as you can see through the energy of Nina, she's still forced to deal with her choices even where she is.
That's true hell.
That's true hell. Still being forced to live in the image of who you want it to be. But we weren't brave enough to stand in our own power. Because when Eunice decided to stand in her own power, she was an Aquarius. You know, they call us aliens. They say that we're not from here. Okay? They say that we don't fit in. They call us weird. They call us weird because we're not from here. We don't see the world as you see the world. We don't understand the world the way that you understand the world. We aren't even in the same lifetime that you're standing in. I'm here, but I'm not here. Sure. And I see and I understand the world in a way that the world would never understand. But my tribe, whenever I open up my mouth and speak, they know that I'm not lying. When the women around me that I'm surrounded, when they open up their mouths and speak, I know that they're not lying because the universe validates immediately